Hey everyone, John Howell here. Today we're going to be looking at the bit of an update on the S&P 500. There's some really key support levels that we're bouncing off right now. Also some Fibonacci levels that I want to share with you as well too. Also we're going to have a bit of an update on the mining stocks, bit of a silver and gold, and some other different things I want to share with you as well too. So I've got a good market update for you today, guys. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty, traders. So let's get straight into it, guys. If you haven't done so yet, then make sure you get access to that trading course that I used to charge for, but now I'm just giving away free access to it. So guys, you can see it on the screen there, 4 phases. If you need help in your trading, then I'm giving this away for free just to help you guys out. First thing in the description, go get that right now. If you need help with chart reading, phase number 2 is for you. If you're losing a lot of money right now and you need help, phase number 1 is for you. If you're looking for a good trading system, phase number 3 is for you, and so on and so forth, right? It's all in there. Just go get the help, and again, it's free. So let's go and have a look at what the Dow Jones. Look what's happened here on the. I'm going to go from the short-term view on the Dow Jones, and then I'm going to squeeze it up to many. Like right now, we're looking at the last 3 months of data. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to view, I'm going to bring that, I'm going to look at the last 3 months, but then I'm going to bring up the last couple of years. I'm going to share with you some major trend lines, but let's actually look at the very short-term view here. The very short-term view, what we have is we can see there's actually a few things. Let me actually just delete these off the screen so I can redraw them for you. So the very first thing that is on my radar is that we are actually in a bit of a downward trend right now on the Dow Jones. So this is a bit of a sticky situation for the Dow Jones. So if I am looking at this here, we can see we have a high and we have a lower high. So the market's starting to, we have a low here and we have a significant low all through there as well too. And so we can see that that's what's happening right now through there. And now we've actually got to run down and now we're getting a pullback. So the question mark about this is where we are right now. Is this just the pullback before we start to see a much more of a significant move down, or is something else under play? Okay, so I'm going to talk about this here, but I'm going to touch on the technicals, and then I'm going to talk about my big fundamental view of what may be happening behind the scenes in this current environment where we are right now. So, excuse me. So we can see we've had a bit of a pullback. So if I go to my Fibonacci levels, and a good rule of thumb is that if I go from the ultimate high down to the ultimate low point, or even just from the last swing, right? When you go from the last swing high to the last swing low, we're right at the 60% level right now on the Dow Jones. Now you can see this 60% level, this 34,800 is indeed a level of 60% Fibonacci support, or should I say resistance, because it's resistance against it. It's right there. But you can see also, if I draw up a little bit of a box, notice over the last sort of couple of months, this whole 60% Fibonacci level as well too is right smack on that 34,000, right smack on a level of resistance. So it's resistance here. You can see it had a lot of problems through here. We bounced through here. We bounced, and we bounced through there. So right now we are at a bit of a do or die situation, guys. Leave a comment below. What do you think is coming for the Dow Jones? I honestly believe that for the stock market, this is the big view on the stock market. My view, I could be wrong, is that I see October, November, and December, I see them being one very, 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 very good, strong, bullish moves. That's my opinion. And you know what my opinion is worth? 2 cents. Actually, it's not even worth that. It's probably... Actually, every time I have an opinion in the market, it's probably mostly wrong. So, but when I listen to the market's telling me. Okay, so that's my view. I believe we could even see a parabolic move in the last quarter. I truly actually do see that coming. But again, I could be wrong. So we need to listen to the markets. Leave a comment below, guys. Let me know what you think. Do you think we're going to see that parabolic move? We know we're going to see a parabolic move, or what they call melt up phase, to finish this bull market. The question is that going to happen in October, November, and December? Is this pullback here, is that all it's got? So that's my little long-term view. Short-term view, TA, technical analysis. We can also see that we've had a rally up and we're rejection right now. So that tells me a few things. if this market does start to rally right back up towards its highs, this is what I'm looking for. This is the big keys through here. If we could break the 60% level and come right back up to the highs, if we could start to do something like this, then that tells me that all this was just a bit of a flattening out period, and then we'll probably get a bit of a pullback, and then we're likely to see a very, very, very big move to the upside. But you also can see a few different things that are happening through here. The first thing I do say is that if I draw a bit of a support line, a bit of a resistance line coming down through here, and as you can see, if I zoom in a bit more, you can see this downward leg. You see how we've actually had a lot of, it's actually called downward momentum, right? And you can see as long as we've actually stayed below this support line, or this sort of momentum trend line, you can see it's actually being bearish. But now we've actually closed above it. So we're starting to get a little bit of a bullish activity through there on the Dow Jones. Now, if I zoom out to the big picture, let me actually take the Fibonacci off the screen and we'll keep that all through there. But if I zoom out, look where we are right now. There's actually a lot of support where we are right now on the Dow Jones. And I was doing a session today for my PC, private clients. PA, my personal assistant. Yeah, my personal assistant. So we can see through here, we have this starter point, and we can see how we've actually we've had a lot of sort of rejection around these longer terms. I wouldn't say it's a more like a finite level, but it's more like an area. You can see this whole area through here. You can see even we had a lot of rejection through there, and even recently from there to there. So let me zoom back in again. I'm going to talk about this trend line right here. Let me zoom right in. That's that trend line here. It was that very long-term trend line, and you can see how it's bounced off there, bounced off there. Look where we are right now. We're bouncing off it again. So this is actually getting a strong bounce, but also we have another trend line coming through here, and this is that trend line through here. We've actually now got a couple of strong bounces. We've had a bounce through here. The market bounced off there, and recently we bounced off this level as well too. So I moved the trend line to bounce off there. The reason why that is important is this. Moving forward, there's two different scenarios that I see happening here and on the Dow Jones. And it's going to give me a bit of a view of what's likely to happen. Let's talk about scenario number one. Scenario number one is that we do hold this level, and we start to rally back up to make a new high. If we start to do that over the next few weeks, let's just say, for example, we start to do something like this, right? We start to move up, and we start to break up to all-time new high. That tells me that this support level here, support level here, support level here has been strong, and this sort of sideways phase that we've been getting is now likely to be ending, and a nice strong move is probably likely to be starting, aka probably the parabolic move. Now, that may not happen because we're at that sticky situation, right? We need to wait for a bit of a breakout to say, okay, if we do break out, now I'm really confident, but no YOLOing, right? No YOLOing. Confident that we're likely to see probably even a 40,000 Dow by the end of the year. Man, I know that sounds crazy, but whoa, right? But I want to see this first. If we get this, then yep, you know what? This sideways phase, not much going on. We're probably likely to see a pretty big move because now we've been hold support. You know, it's like the market, right? It's like hold support, boom, it takes off. So that's what we're seeing through there. Now, let's look at scenario number two. Is the market going to crash? Is this a fake out? Is this a fake move to the upside before we actually start to see some strong movement on the downside? Is that what we're seeing here right now? So if I zoom in on the chart, right now, remember I said before, right now we're at what? We're at the 50% Fibonacci level. And remember I said before, we've actually bounced off these two trend lines. So if this is going to be just a little fake move to the upside, little pop before we see the drop, if it's going to create some sort of lower high here again and then drop, look at this here. This is where it could spell dangerous territory for the markets, and we need to be alert for this pattern. So look at this here. If we do start to right now we're actually in a bit of a downward trend, right? Low, we've made a lower high, and we're now down, and we're now moved up. If this is going to be another lower high and we start to rally down and we start to break past these previous lows and we start to get down below here somewhere, that's going to be pretty dangerous to the markets. And then now there's a massive probability we're likely to see a move to the downside. Now, move to the downside is probably likely to be the 31 level. And that's that longer term. You can see here, see this massive long-term trend line that I've got? You can see all through here, the bouncing off these levels. Had a little bit of a move through there, but we had a bouncing. Look at all the resistance all through here as well too. A bit of a support. So they're the different scenarios, right? There's a different scenario. So it's like the market's like, okay. And so I'm sitting on the sidelines, or actually I'm not sitting on the sidelines. I'm actually in the market right now. But I'm watching very carefully to see what does this form. Does this form into a lower high? If it does do something like, let me actually bring up, if we do something like this and we roll over and then we start to head down, then maybe this is a shoulder, head, shoulder formation. Oh. And then again, guys, I'm not saying this is going to happen, okay? We need to wait for the market to tell us first. Let's respond. Let's wait for the market to form the pattern first. And then if that does happen, we're now likely to see at least a bit of a strong pullback. If we do start to see a breaking of these major levels of support as well too, like that one through there and that one through there, and we start to get this right here, we're likely to see a pretty strong move to the downside. Now that doesn't look like much there because I've zoomed out, but let me zoom back in now and we can see what I'm talking about here. That's what I'm talking about. From there, if we roll over and we break these support levels, guys, it's on. It is on, and we're probably likely to see a very sharp movement. And then if that happens, October's going to be bloody. Because therefore, it's okay, the market's telling us, guys, the market's giving us a warning sign, right? We need to listen to the markets. Again, guys, my long-term view right now in the stock market is bullish. And I'm doing that for, on a macro level, we can see the amount of money. The Fed's still at very low interest rates, 0. They're not tapering yet. There's lots of money on the sidelines coming from the bond market and even from cash into the equity market to chase a return. So my view of all of that is that we're like, this is going to finish off with a bang, meaning a melt up. So my long-term view of this is up. But that's my view. We may be that, even though that view may be correct, we may see a movement on the downside first from a low to a high point. That's if from the high to low, that's only still a 12% correction in the markets, right? Maybe we get that first before we go through the melt up. I don't know, but this pattern here is where we need to be alert. Now, what happens over the next few weeks if we do rally back up? You know my views and so on and so forth. But this is where we need to be really, really careful. Let's go have a look at the S&P 500 and sort of the same thing when it comes to the S&P 500. If I bring up my longer term charts here once again, so it means over the last sort of 2-3 years, you can see there's a lot of significant support where we are right now in the markets. We can see the very first trend line that I have here, back here. We have a high here. We have all this resistance here. Resistance, and support. So this trend line through is major high points, and now we're almost getting, that sort of support level. And we can see we almost bounced off this trend line right here, which is actually not that trend line. But then you can see we have a few different trend lines. This major one, this major bottom through here, which, let me actually take that off the screen there for a minute because that's not relevant to where we are right now. But if I look at this other trend line, you can see how I've got all the bounces through there, bounce through there, a little bounce through there, and a little bounce through there as well too. You can see how we almost bounced off it just recently. So same thing, right? We're getting this bouncing move where we are right now. So that's the overall big picture there. I'm just trying to see if there's anything. Let's actually I'm just going to draw some longer term trend lines to see if there's anything I can see here that I can I'm just trying to get a bit of a, wow, look at that. Look how well that respected there, guys, back here. Notice, look at this here. All that support level through there. Look at all that resistance. Look what happened here. Even resistance, and even found support through there as well too. Like, just It's just amazing how these longer term trend lines really work in the markets. It's not relevant to markets now, but I'm just looking at these markets to see if I can find another sort of trend line in play where we are right now. And you know what? That actually could be, isn't that interesting? Look at that trend line there. That actually could be, I don't want too many trend lines here. Let me actually take this one off the screen here. I'm just trying to find the most relevant one to the markets. And actually, I'm just doing this freestyle right now, guys. But look at this look at this trend line. That's actually, oh, that's interesting. Look at that trend line. So let me actually take that off the screen now for a minute. And look at what we've got there. That's actually valid, right? Again, guys, it's not based on, I'm not looking for bullishness or bearishness, guys. Because if this breaks down, then it's going to break down, okay? But I'm looking at, okay, what's really going on here? And I just found this line as I was doing just live on the spot, right? So I got this, I picked all these levels up through here. I picked this up here. Look at all this resistance all through here, right? This is a matter of many months of resistance. Then it found support, and look what happened recently. It found support there. Oh my goodness. That's a very, 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 very strong trend line. So the same thing for the Dow Jones. The first thing I must say is, once again, we made a lower low. Then we're rallying up, and we're actually rejecting right at that 60% level, and also a bit of a momentum. It's actually probably a little bit higher than that, probably somewhere through, the momentum line would be there somewhere. So notice how I'm picking up all these highs all through here. This day here, this day, we're at this day here, this day. So this is the momentum trend line that I'll be using to say, okay, this is the downward momentum phase. Firstly, we got the 60%. So there's two things that I'm seeing here right now, because the market's in a bit of a indecision territory. So the first thing is, once again, is if we do start to break back up and rally back up to all-time new highs, that 4,550 level, then if that does happen, then we're probably likely to start to see a very, very, very strong movement for the rest of this year. So that's what I'm seeing there. But the other scenarios that we need to be alert for is that if this is a lower high in the markets, we've already created the lower low. All right, so we've already got this lower low. So that's giving me this is already this low compared to this low. It's already done that. So that's actually giving me a warning sign that this trend may be coming to an end. So if we do start to roll over like this, and we start to do this, and we come back down, and we break this low through here, then guys, get ready for a big move down. Get ready for one hell of a move down. And it's probably going to use this as a projection point, because that may even be a bit of a head and shoulder for it as well too, right? Where this may be some sort of a shoulder, head, and this may even cause some sort of a shoulder, and then away we go. So the projection of that, if I measure, if this does happen, guys, all right, the projection for it, where the market's likely to run to, would be this right. I'd say this right here. So we project that out, project that down to there, and we can see we have this level all through there. So if I zoom back in a bit, and you can see how that's actually this major level of support back here. So if we start to get a bit of a drop to the downside, then that would actually be, what is that? That's still only a 10% pullback in the markets. So again, guys, these are the patterns that we need to keep a alert out for. I'm actually in these markets long term, right? Again, I have positions long term in these markets for the rest of this year, but I'm not oblivious to what these markets are telling me right now. The market actually could be giving us a major warning sign. This could be a major warning sign for a very severe pullback coming in October, and then maybe we see a shoot up in November and December. I don't know, but if this does start to happen, guys, get ready, because it could be really, 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 really sharp in the markets there. Move over now through to the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq has been just very, 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 very strong indeed. We've continued to stay above these major, major, major long-term support level here. We've continued to make higher lows. All right, we even made a slight higher low recently as well too. And then the market's had a pop to the upside. So we've had a the Nasdaq's been very, 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 very strong. And if I look at big stocks like, for example, Amazon's one of the big stocks I've been watching lately to get into a trade. And the reason why is that, look at all these trend lines on this here. Man, there's a lot of trend lines here. Let's delete them all. All right, we don't need any of these here. Let's just delete. I only need the trend lines that are relevant right now. Let's actually delete that as well too, right? Guys, if there's too many trend lines on the screen, just take it off, right? Because we're trying to analyze the price action most importantly. These are the trend lines here that I'll be using. So the first thing is I'll be using this trend line right here, because that's that major resistance level, and I'll be using this one here because that's that major low level coming up through where we are right now. And so as we can see on Amazon, right, we're actually getting this lot of sideways movement all through here, right? A lot of sideways movement. And look what's happening right now. So we've actually had a bit of a pop to the upside, a little bit of a pullback. If we start to get that, that's a higher low breaker past previous highs. There's a good chance that after all this sideways movement and now we start to get a breakout, that we could see a very, very big move out of Amazon, because we've just done nothing for, how long has that been? Well over 12 months, right? So yeah, over 1 year worth of sideways movement, and now and if we do start to break out, Amazon could absolutely just go bonkers, guys. So that's one thing that's probably keeping the Nasdaq up. Maybe not, but that's what I'm seeing through there on that. Moving over now through to, let's have a look at the good old short term. Let's actually bring on some moving averages as well too. So the moving averages on short term on the mining sector. So the mining sector I'm seeing here right now, we still have a significant high and a significant lower high. The trend is still our friend. And if you remember what I talked about yesterday, I've been this purple moving average. This purple moving average is my 9 moving average. Then I have a 20 moving average. And then I also have a blue moving average, which is a 52. That I have on the other screen that I'm looking at. But to keep it really simple for you guys, I'm just looking at these to see where these are pointing, right? Because if we've got a short-term moving average, that's telling us what's happening on the short term. And you can see the short-term sort of momentum is trending down here. So we still have we have an overall trend coming down, low, lower high, and now we're doing this here, right? So overall trend is coming down, and we've got a very short-term moving average coming down. Look what happened here recently. It came up to the 9, rejected the 9, closed lower, and now we're actually breaking down. So we're still getting a continuous weakness. I still do see, guys, that the mining sector is probably going to have a big bang soon. I mean, like a very good move to the upside. It just that's overall, right? I see the next 4 or 5 years we're probably, maybe even next year, we start that big move, right? I just see in the big macro cycles, I see big moves coming in the mining sector. But maybe this pullback here is to continue seeing the weakness out of the markets. But the market will tell us when we're likely to start to turn around, and it hasn't happened yet, right? It's still continuing down here. You can see what happened here recently, that we had this major sort of support level. Okay, you see, had this major support level, came down support. Once it actually broke, it rejected it this day here, rejected it here as well too, also off the strong momentum trending down, and now we're pushing to the downside. So there's a lot of momentum on the downside on the GDX. If I go and have a look at the GDXJ, then it's sort of the same thing as well too. We're still getting very, very, very sort of strong. We're getting sort of strong movement. It had a movement down, lower high, and now we're breaking down as well too. So breaking to the downside in the markets here, right? And you can see here, that's the reason why the trend is your friend, right? We always want to be trading with the trend, because we never know how long these pullbacks are going to last before what? Before the trend comes back and kicks in again as well too. But same sort of thing, we're actually trending to the downside. I wouldn't be too surprised to see more weakness coming into the mining sector. We can see that there is a lot of long-term support levels. If I zoom my charts right a bit more, you can see this sort of $35 level now is definitely a strong target for the for the GDX coming into it. So this $35 target is definitely a target that I see happening in the in the GDX there. So we're continuing downside. Any real bullishness, guys, I'd like to see this market find a bit of a bottoming pattern. So maybe if maybe a double bottom, maybe, and then a breaking up through here. That'll give me confidence that we're now likely to start an upward trend. But we're not getting that right now. SIL, and still just a continuation on the downside. Let me just remove all that off the screen here for a minute. Let's just look at what the market's telling me. The silver miners, once again, we have this movement down and a lower high, and we're still continuing down. And look what happened even just recently. We had this level of support level through here. So we had this major level of support. Look what happened. Broke it, resistance, and now we're pushing down. And look at the 9 moving average, still trending down. So we haven't actually even closed above it yet. So even on the short-term momentum, look at this here, guys. When the market comes down, close above it, and short-term momentum changes. Come down, close above it, short-term momentum changes. Down. So even on a short-term momentum, on this short-term momentum leg, we're looking for a close above to say, okay, even this short-term momentum is now possibly coming to an end. Move over now through to the gold market, and the gold market is definitely on the big picture. Let me actually zoom back out to the real big picture for the last 3 or 4 years. Actually, let's look at this weekly chart here, because this is where the weekly chart is. You can see we're definitely in a... actually, let me just bring up this chart here, because without the moving averages, you'll be able to see it a lot clearer. You see we're still stuck in this overall sort of triangle pattern, resistance, support, nothing really much going on here. So very, very, very interesting to see what's happening here with gold. But if I bring up my very short-term picture, let's actually go back to the last sort of 3 to 6 months. Let's take the trend lines off the screen here, because trend lines are trend lines and they could slice through butter. The most important thing is the trend, what's going on. And so we can see that we've had a high, a lower high, and a lower high. And look at the moving average. Look at my purple moving average, right? We have a flattening of the green. So the green is the green moving average. Once again, it's my 20. It's more like the trend. I have 3 moving averages. The 52, which is more like the big long-term trend, the big picture. 20, which is like the short-term trend. So if you're trading with short-term momentum, it's really, really good. And then or should I medium term, and then the real short term is the 9 moving average. They're the moving averages, again, I've used for a long time. The 9 moving average is a moving average I learned probably going back 13, 14 years ago now from one of my first mentors. And I've just always stuck with the 9. But as you can see, right, the most important thing is a high, lower high, lower high, and now we're breaking down. So we may just be, if I go back to let's actually go to the hourly charts. And look at this here. We had a bit of a pullback and a bit of a drop on the hourly charts. And now we're holding this support level here. So we may be getting ready. Isn't that just a beautiful pattern? Look at that there. And look how strong that 20 is. Just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pattern. And now you can see where we are right now on this here as well too. So we're getting that real sort of strong movement on the downside. Let's have a look at the GLD, see what that's doing. Yeah, we're still getting a lot of weakness coming into these metals. So maybe, just maybe, gold's getting ready to have a bit more downside. There's a lot of momentum, a lot of strength, and a lot of pushing on the downside. So maybe we're getting ready for another flush to the downside out of gold. Moving over now through to silver. And silver is, again, same thing. And this is where the trend is your friend until the end. The big picture trend, guys, not small picture, okay? So when I mean the trend is that I'm not talking about this here. Because a lot of people say, oh, look, here's a low, here's a higher low. There's a low, there's a double bottom, there's a high, there's a low there, there's a high there, there's a high low there, there's a low, there's a high low. No, time out, right? Big picture, right? Where's the waves? I call it a wave, right? Where's the wave? The wave starts here, there's the major high, there's the major low, there's the major high, there's the major low, there's the major high, there's a major low, right? So we're seeing these major moves. These are the signals. That's the real trend, right? Not these small little ones. Because we want to see white space, white space, white space, white space, white space, and also white space. Okay. But looking at the very short term, look what we've got here. Look what's going on right now. Okay. Again, not what I think. I think we're going to see a very big bull market, That's what I think. When? I could be wrong. But look what's happening on the short term. We've got this significant support level through here. Right, a significant strong resistance level that's now doing what? Support level here, which is around this is the $23 level on silver. Support level here, support level, and then a break into the downside, and then a rally back up, and now we're getting a rejection as well, right? Complete rejection, and now we're getting a rejection on the downside. And look what's happening on the short. Look at this purple moving average. It's a short-term momentum. We actually you can see here, it's actually very what we call it. Look how smooth this moving average is, right? Very, very smooth. We're not getting very. When I say smooth, I mean you can see how. Let me actually show you not smooth. Where is not smooth? See how we've got a very sharp angle here? That's not what you want. That's not smooth. But when you zoom in, right? You look at this here. Look at this here. It's just a nice smooth moving average. Smooth coming up, smooth coming down. And look what's happening here, right? We just continue to break down. So we're right at this resistance level here on the short term. But if I zoom out to the big picture, this is why it's important, guys, to get really, really good at small picture, big picture. Small picture is what's happening now, and then big picture. Because look what's happening where we are right now. If we break this low level here, guys, we're going to see some fireworks in silver. Silver could produce some fireworks on the downside, a big, big, big flush down. And then it actually could be pretty bad from there. If I zoom out to my longer term, let's actually go to my longer term weekly charts to see. I want to see if there's any longer term support levels that I can see through here long term. There possibly is something through there. Yeah, there possibly is something through there, but that's where it is right now. So you know what? Who cares about that? Let's actually go back to the daily charts now. Let's go back to the last short term, and you can see what's happening here. So silver could be seeing some fireworks on the downside. We could see a big flush down there. Now, just depending on if we do get that, guys. If a lot of the times the market loves to do like a little false, a little bear trap, and then completely reverse on you. So it's going to be interesting to see this sort of built up for me there. You can see what we're seeing right now. If we do get something like this here, I'd want to see this be a bear trap. Again, I'm not gonna think. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait and wait, because if it does come back down and then suddenly we get a reversal really quickly to the upside, this is a complete bear trap and probably likely to be some sort of a start of a big move to the upside, and that's what the market does. But we need a good flush down first, and then a complete reversal in the markets. Guys, thank you so much for watching my video to the end. You are my 3%ers. So guys, put in silver fireworks in the comment section below. Firstly, to show me that you're my 3%ers, because only 3% of people actually watch these videos, finish watching, especially half an hour long market updates. So put in 3%er in the chat box below. Firstly, to show me who you are, and secondly, it's going to confuse the hell out of us, like silver fireworks. So what are they talking about? So anyway, guys, thanks very much, and I'll see you in the next video. Hey traders, I'm giving away 100% free access to my brand new breakthrough full trading course. This is 8 videos over 10 hours of pure amazing and powerful strategies. This is my most powerful systems and strategies that I've used for the last 16 years, and I'm giving it away for free. So this is what I want you to do right now. I want you to go to johnsfreegift.com, or there should be a link around here somewhere, a button or in the description or somewhere in there. Click on that and you can go get free access to my brand new breakthrough trading course. So go to johnsfreegift.com right now. Go to that right now, guys. You can get full, complete, free membership access. Go do that right now.